The first part is public comment, and so this is only for items that are on the agenda, and it's a limit of 3 minutes. And so when you come up to the microphone, if you would state your name and address, that would be helpful. So I've got Cassandra Nicholas, if you come up, yep. And if you need help with the microphone, just let us know. And just state your name and address, please, and make sure you speak into the microphone. Thank you.
All right, thank you. My name is Cassandra Nicholas. My address is 335 Foster Creek Road in Swansboro, and I'm the Secretary of Seaside Arts Council. So we're included in item 6C on the agenda regarding funding for nonprofits. Seaside Arts Council is a 501c3 nonprofit. Our funding request is specifically for assistance with SwanFest. So SwanFest, this is our 16th annual year doing the SwanFest concert series It runs on Sundays downtown at the Pug, starting this year on June 1st. We're doing 12 concerts this year. So we're really hoping for the town's ongoing support as we've received in previous years. This year, we had more success with our private sponsorships than in previous years, but we still don't have enough without the town's support to carry us through this SwanFest season, where we have what we need to pay the bands and the sound, but we do have additional expenses related to the event insurance, the police presence that we pay for separately, and potentially, possibly porta potties if the visitor center isn't open for public use by then. So we do have some additional expenses that we're hoping for the town's support to help SwanFest be a success as it has been for the past 15 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mary Pat Schmay.
Mary Pat Smay, 221 Nightheads Drive. Put my name down on the comments because we were asked to be here as somebody who submitted on behalf of Tunnel to Towers for the nonprofit funding. So just here in case there are questions. And we had submitted the application for continued support from the town, the in-kind sponsorship for public safety mostly during the event. So I'm just here in the room and put my name down just in case. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And Linda Thornley.
Linda Thornley, 104 Elizabeth Way in Swansboro. Like the two previous people that spoke to you, we're here about the nonprofit funding. I represent the Swansboro Military Affairs Committee, and we're looking for funding for MAD, for Military Appreciation Day out at Hammocks Beach. Last year we had about 5,000 people. We're hoping to surpass that since the ferries to the island opened today. So we're very excited about that, and that day is entirely free for any military personnel, their families, veterans, active duty, retired, anybody that wants to come out. Several of you have participated in the past, and obviously you know a little bit about what we do, but I'm also here to answer questions, or if you have any questions about funding or where we get our funding from. Thank you.
Thank you. Terry Herbert, name and address, please.
Is this working? My name is Terry Herbert, and I live at 102 Oyster Bay Road. And I'm here to discuss the budget, specifically the budget meeting of April 29th. I was one of two people who were here that evening who listened to the budget discussion. What I heard was that to pass the proposed budget, we would have to likely increase revenues, decrease expenses, or take money from our savings, probably a combination of all, to cover the proposed $812,000 deficit. One of the items leading to the shortfall was $365,000 to stand up a new EMS department. I've been told that that has been canceled by the county. That brings the deficiency down to $447,000. Of that, $250,000 is earmarked for Project Coffee, and $50,000 is allocated for a land use plan update. If those expenses were eliminated, the gap would be reduced to $147,000, far more manageable to pare down. Perhaps we could finance the pickleball courts by paying for them outright. Also during the meeting, I heard Flybridge mentioned 3 times, especially relating to the permitting department and its annual budget of $310,000. Supposedly, the town would collect $500,000 in fees over the life of construction of the project. Flybridge was also mentioned regarding general tax revenue. If the complex has a value of $20 million, the tax revenue would be $70,000 annually if it's annexed. Not enough to fund the associated cost to pay one police officer 1 full year. That's approximately $85,000. Lastly, I heard one commissioner try to propose a 2-cent reduction in the town tax rate. Currently, 1 cent equates to $71,493. 2 cents totals $142,986, or about $80 per year on a $400,000 property. Not sure why we would want to do that unless we're trying to force development on the town. Some would argue that a tax rate increase is what's needed, especially if it means keeping green space and doesn't add to the already congested traffic in town. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Junior Freeman, and you can go to either microphone you like.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. Junior Freeman, 714 West Corwood Avenue. I'm to speak on the RFQ that you put out for the Public Safety Center. I see in that it's to encompass a 16,000 square foot building on a 7-acre tract. By that being said, back a few months ago, we had on the agenda about eminent domain on a 10-acre parcel beside of the Piggly Wiggly. So apparently that's where a portion of this 7 acres is being looked at. Eminent domain is very serious when you do that. I served on the Onwassa board as a representative for Swansboro when Piney Green Road was being rebuilt, and I think there was 11 properties that had to be taken small amounts of, and some the entire property by eminent domain. And during that, there was probably 4 or 5 of them that actually went to court, and there was a couple of those that was quite a bit different from the amount that the state and Onwassa agreed to pay the property owners. So at the end, the property owners got a lot more money than was given during the eminent domain. So if that were to happen with this 7 acres, if that is going eminent domain, if one person within that party, if some sign and some don't, and it goes eminent domain, all it takes is one challenge to go to court. And when it gets to court, then no telling how much it would be. Other realtors I've talked to, that property is valued to 10 acres at anywhere between $5 and $6+ million. And that's taking a lot of money out of the tax base if it would be developed. So that's critical part there. And somewhere down the road, if it went to court and it wound up being challenged, then the citizens and taxpayers would be paying that deficit. So give that really hard thought when you're looking at that. It's a critical situation there, and it was talked about in some of the EOC public meetings about moving the entire town facilities to the EOC when it became that. If that's what the plan is, let the people know that that's what you're planning for the future. I don't think the state gave the town money to go in the land business. There'll be, with 7 acres, there's a lot more stormwater work to be done and so forth, and it adds up quite a bit, and then maintaining it afterwards. So please give that consideration if that's what's going to be done. You don't need 7 acres for a 16,000 square foot building that can be put on 3 acres. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, please forgive me on the pronunciation of the last name, Martha Oyen. How do you pronounce it? Oyen.
You were close.
I was
Everybody
close.
mispronounces it. Blame my husband. He was Norwegian heritage.
Yeah, just state your name and address.
Martha Oyen, 204 Wild Oak Drive, Swansboro. And I'm the treasurer of the Seaside Arts Council, and I just wanted to reiterate what Kathy said. We really do need the funding from the town. It's extremely expensive to put on all these bands and pay for the sound. And in the past years, we've gotten $6,500 from the town, but then we have to give back like $1,800 or $2,000 to pay for police out of that, so it kind of comes in and goes back out. But we definitely need the support. And again, we have, if you guys have been down there, you see how many people are there every Sunday. And it's primarily Swansboro people. I mean, there's some tourists, but mostly local people that come every week, and it's what they do on their Sunday evenings. So please consider to continuing support. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Okay, Jamie Patani. How you doing?
How are you?
Good.
I'm back again, and my issue is still traffic. You can put it on your agenda any way you want to. You're talking about an industrial complex on the right, and you're talking about Daybridge on the left. I don't know how much traffic that'll bring, but the nightmare's not going to get any better. The other part of that is the police department is woefully understaffed. We all know that. Why aren't we doing anything about it? They need help. They can't be everywhere. If any one of you had worked in the civilian factor, a town this size with that for a police department, no offense, but they're understaffed. They need help. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, so we're going to move now to adoption of agenda and consent items. Do I have a, I'm sorry? Yeah. What are you saying, John? Yeah, okay, so about the closed session? Yeah. Should I announce that now? Should I announce that? Okay, we're good? Okay, that's fine. All right, so we'll go to adoption of agenda and consent items. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
All right, so that motion passed, so we'll just move on to appointments, recognitions, and presentations. We have 4 tonight, so I'm going to do 2, and I asked our Mayor Pro Tem, Jeff, to do the last 2. So the first one is Safe Boating Week, and so if you'll come up and join me, I'd like to read the proclamation to you, and then Carl couldn't be here tonight, and you're in his stead, so we'll come right over this way over here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and read this proclamation first. So it says, whereas nearly 90 million Americans, boating continues to be a popular recreational activity. From coast to coast and everywhere in between, people are taking to the water and enjoying time together, boating, sailing, paddling, fishing. And whereas year-round, people continue to enjoy all that our natural environment has to offer through the joy of boating. And whereas proper planning for a day of boating begins even before leaving the home, getting a free vessel safety check and taking a safe boating course at the beginning of the boating season, filing a float plan with a trusted family member or friends, and checking the weather before the boats are key to steps to an enjoyable time boating. And whereas knowing important life-saving tips for recreational boaters will help to ensure that they and their loved ones are safe and responsible so that they can have a safer, more fun experience while exploring our nation's waterways. And whereas safe and responsible boating includes never operating a boat while under the influence of drugs or alcohol and knowing basic navigation rules. And whereas every boater should wear a U.S. Coast Guard approved life jacket at all times while boating. Today's life jackets are more comfortable, more attractive, and more wearable than styles of years past. And whereas, on average, 650 people die each year in boating-related accidents in the U.S. Approximately 3/4 of these are fatalities caused by drowning, And whereas a significant number of boaters who lose their lives by drowning each year would be alive today had they worn their life jackets. And whereas the vast majority of these accidents are caused by human error or poor judgment and not by the boat, equipment, or environmental factors. Therefore, I, William Justice, on behalf of the Swansboro Board of Commissioners, do hereby support the goals of the North American Safe Boating Campaign, Wear It, and proclaim May 17th through 23rd, 2025 as National Safe Boating Week, and the start of the year year-round effort to promote safe boating. In witness thereof, I urge all those who boat to wear it and practice safe boating habits this 13th day of May, 2025. Thank you very much. Do you have anything you'd like to say?
The last time I was in this place, it was a church. So it's good to be back. We're 30 members of the flotilla, Swansboro Flotilla, working with the Coast Guard Emerald Isle Station. We do everything they do, but we don't give tickets, okay? But we're here to prevent safety to the recreational boating people in Swansboro and throughout the town of Swansboro and North Carolina. Thank you very much, Bill, for the proclamation.
And I'd like to say I've benefited from your free vessel inspections. You've come by the house many times. They also do it at Goose Creek Marine Boating out there. I'm assuming you still do it at this time?
The ramp at the Emerald Isle, the ramp, we do that every Saturday, third Saturday of the month. We're there from 8 o'clock till 12 o'clock. We'll come to your house. You can bring the boat to our place, wherever you'd like to do it. It's free of charge. Okay.
And get that sticker and you're less likely to get pulled over by the Coast Guard.
I'm not going to say they're not going to get pulled over. They have to get so many themselves. But they just see our sticker on your window, and they'll say, okay, just let me see a life jacket or a flight sticker. Then that'll be good.
It shows you've already complied with the basic
But
stuff.
it's important that we check your boat at the beginning of the year, because your fire extinguishers go bad, the life jackets are bad, most people don't know how to get the weather channel on their radio. We'll kind of teach you that kind of stuff. You know, we make sure that you have everything there that's compliant with the rules and regulations of North Carolina. We give you all brochures for the state, the federal, and how to get by a life jacket, how to do this, how to do that, how to join the Coast Guard Auxiliary. We're looking for members from 17 to 105. So if you have free time, you'd like to come and join us, great bunch of people. Like I say, we're right here. We meet down at Cape Carteret once a month. Tonight's a meeting. So I thank you again, Bill.
All right, thank you. All right. All right, I'm glad that wasn't a long one or anything. This is why I asked Jeff to help me out here. So now we're going to do the Onslow Senior Games. So I'd like for any individual that's representing you guys to come up, or all of y'all come up, please. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, Joe, are you coming up?
Joe.
Senior. You read this.
You're very
Yeah, you better. First of all, I want to thank you all for coming out tonight and competing with, putting up with Joe. I guess you had to put up with Joe once in a while. So I'm going to read the proclamation for the Onslow County Senior Games. It says, whereas mature adults and the entire community look forward to the Onslow County Senior Games, an Olympic-style event designed to create a year-round health promotion and completion for participants that are 50 years of age and better. And whereas Onslow County Senior Games, held the 26th of April through the 17th of May of this year, is sanctioned by the North Carolina Senior Games, and whereas the North Carolina Senior Games, the largest senior Olympic program in the nation, will include more than 60,000 total participants competing in more than 50 medal sports. And whereas the North Carolina Senior Games takes a holistic approach to improving individual health by involving the body, mind, and spirit of the athletes. and promoting the importance of aging in a healthy manner. And whereas our well wishes are extended to all the competitors, especially the seniors from the Onslow County community, who will strive to achieve their personal goals. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Town of Swansboro Board of Commissioners welcomes the 2025 North Carolina Senior Games, a leader in guiding statewide programming in the area of health, aging, and recreation to Onslow County. The Board of Commissioners encourages all residents of Onslow County to applaud this organization's devotion to health promotion and to support the outstanding athletes participating in this year's Senior Games, presented this 13th day of May 2025. So congratulations, and who would we give this to? Would you like to say a few words?
Good evening. I'm Carolyn Harrison, and I'm an Onslow County Senior Games Ambassador. My goal is to encourage everybody 50 and above to participate, and I aim to increase that goal every year. And she does. So I need competition, so please come out. It's a lot of fun, fitness, friends, fellowship, you name it, we got it. Come join us. Thank you.
Thank you. Did you want to say anything? I just want to say one thing. Don't play cornhole because Kathy and Joe Brown are state champions in cornhole, so don't join in that league.
I'd also like to point out this young lady here that just spoke participates in 14 different sports. She has medals right now in 11, and she's looking for 3 more. So if you're playing her game, be careful.
All right, now thank you so much for coming out. Jeff's going to do. I hope you got him out.
All right, Tank, bring your folks up here. Come on. All right, the National Public Works Week proclamation, May 18th to May 24th, 2025. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of the town of Swansboro. And whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public's interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in the town of Swansboro to gain knowledge and maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. Whereas the year of 2025 marks the 65th anniversary of National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association / Canadian Public Works Association. Be it now, therefore, Mayor William Justice and the Swansboro Board of Commissioners do hereby designate the week of May 18th to May 24th, 2025 as National Public Works Week. I urge all citizens to join representatives of the American Public Works Association and government agencies in activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our nation's health, safety, and advancing quality of life for all.
I know, a lot of stuff these guys do, they fly under the radar a lot. I can't count how many times I've seen the man in charge over there tank on the side of a road with a weed eater. That just shows you, the type of leader he is and the work that they do that sometimes doesn't go seen. So when you see these guys out and about, stop, thank them. I know the guys that whenever they come around and they pick up the lawn clippings, when I catch them, me or my wife will run cookies out to the truck. Scared the one guy the first time I did it, but it's like they're good. We're not going to hurt you. We're good. But they do a lot for our community, so I urge you to thank them along with me. You got something?
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, staff, and citizens. I just can't say enough about these guys. There's two guys that are missing. One's on vacation, one's sick. But these are the ones that are out all day, every day, Monday through Friday, and sometimes on the weekend if we get called in to take care of a stormwater issue, a street issue, a building leak, or something going on like that. And these are the ones, this is all you got doing that. And they do a bang-up job. I could not ask for a better crew than these guys right here. So again, as the Commissioner said, when they're out there on the road doing something, I know that you see them doing it every day or every week or every month, but they might not admit it right now, but they do like to hear, hey, you're doing a good job. So they do a good job, and we are honored to serve this community. So thank you.
I just want to throw in too, not to mention the festivals and all the extra work that creates, and y'all do a super job in helping with the festivals too.
Down there, let the Commissioner shake your hand. Thank you. Thank you. Bring. Wow, I feel safe. Okay, proclamation. Congress of the President of the United States has designated May 15th as Peace Officer Memorial Day, and the week in which May 15th falls as National Police Week, and the members of the Swansboro Police Department play an essential role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of the citizens of Swansboro. And it is important that all citizens know and understand the duties, responsibilities, hazards, and sacrifices of their law enforcement agency, and that members of our law enforcement agency recognize their duties to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, by protecting them against violence and disorder, and by protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression. And the men and women of the Swansboro Police Department and all agencies of Onslow County and its municipalities are to be commended for their dedication and service to the people in potentially dangerous circumstances every day. Therefore, Mayor William Justice and the Swansboro Board of Commissioners hereby call upon all citizens and upon all patriotic, civic, educational organizations to observe the week of May 11th through May 17th as National Police Week, with appropriate observations in which all our people may join in commending law enforcement officers, past and present, who by their faithful and loyal devotion to their responsibility have rendered a dedicated service to their communities, and in so doing have established for themselves an inevitable and enduring reputation for preserving the rights and security of all citizens. Further, we call upon all citizens of Swansboro to observe May 15, 2025 as Peace Officer Memorial Day and honor those law enforcement officers who through their courage, deeds, have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to their community or have become disabled in the performance of duty, and let us recognize and pay respect to the survivors of our fallen heroes this 13th day of May, 2025.
This is everybody. We have one that's out on the road and one that's on reserve duty this week. But this is the group. They're out there 24/7, 365, no matter what the weather is. They're out there in those 25 neighborhoods that we have, 200 plus businesses. A major thoroughfare on Highway 24 that brings more than 30,000 vehicles a day through this town. And I just can't be more proud of our group with the job that they do. I mean, it's a tough job, but we do get a lot of appreciation in this town and from the citizens and the business owners. They do appreciate it every time we go in. They always have a good thing to say about us. Don't be afraid to bring us some cookies at the office either, Jeff. But yeah, I couldn't be more proud of our group and the job that they do. And we thank everybody for recognizing us. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Send them down.
Thank you, buddy. Doing what you're doing. Check this out. Thank you. All right, brother. Thank you. You gonna need it?
My brother.
Yeah, I just want to add, we're very fortunate, all of our departments. I can't speak any more highly of all of our departments that we have, whatever it may be, Public Works, Parks and Recs, or whatever. We are very fortunate. Inspections, just all of them are just top-notch and do a good job. So now we're going to move to public hearing, and we don't have one. So we'll move to business non-consent. And that would be Mr. Barlow's going to fill us in on business bill delivery method.
Good evening, Mayor, Board. Yes, the purpose of this request is to seek approval from the Board for design, build, delivery method for the construction of the public safety building in EOC. Through evaluation, it's found that the design, build, delivery method of services for constructing a new emergency operations center and public safety building would provide valuable benefits to the project. In North Carolina, general statutes require certain criteria to be present for such a service delivery method to be utilized. In accordance with North Carolina General Statute 143, 128, 1A, subsection B, the town of Swansboro has developed the following criteria to determine the appropriateness of using the design, build, delivery method for the project. These criteria reflect a careful evaluation of project-specific conditions and the statutory factors required for the design, build, utilization. In your memo there, you see the list of the 6 criteria that are required that we evaluate to see whether we meet that standard. I'll read the 6 criteria. I won't read all the notes that go with it unless you have any questions. 1, adequate and thorough definition of the project requirements. 2, time constraints for project delivery. 3, ability to ensure project quality. 4, oversight and management capability. 5, good faith effort for historically underutilized businesses and small business inclusion. And 6, cost benefit analysis. So based on the written criteria and the project's unique demands, the town of Swansboro determines that the use of the design, build, delivery method is appropriate and justified. So that brings me to my recommendation that the board approve utilizing the design to delivery method for emergency operations center and public safety building based on compliance with North Carolina General Statute 143, 128, 1AB, criteria listed above, subsequently allowing the request for qualifications to be advertised for such service. If you have any questions, I will try to answer them for you.
Anybody have any questions for John? Okay. So, sure, I guess we'll move on with it. Okay, and you've got the next section, I guess.
If we get a motion to
To approve
accept that
Mhm.
type of service delivery for the purpose
Sure.
of the
Can I get a
construction of the
motion?
project.
I move that we recommend the action.
Okay, second?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Okay, so it passes unanimous. We'll move to the next, part B.
All right, well, with that behind us and approval to use that service delivery method, the next item for your consideration is approval to seek requests for qualifications for design build services for the Town of Swansboro Emergency Operations and Public Safety Center. Pursuant to General Statute, Section 143-128-1A, the Town of Swansboro will solicit proposals from qualified design build firms interested in providing professional design and construction services for the new EOC and public safety building. The design build method is a qualification-based process. You have a copy of the RFQ that we would like to use to solicit firms interested in submitting a bid or a response to us. The RFQ, each firm will be required to submit certain responses within the RFQ, and you see the areas that we will evaluate their responses on. One, it'll be a letter of interest. Two, general information about the company. Three, team qualifications and experience. Four, project understanding, approach, and management. Five, relevant project experience and references. So once we receive, or how many we get, we will base our evaluation on that criteria and give the firm a score. Now, the scores will be ranked as follows. 7% of the score is based on the firm's design build experience with similar projects like ours and the firm's understanding of and approach to the project as evidenced by the response to the RFQ. 30% of the score will be based on the following. The firm's qualifications as called for in the RFQ, indicated quality of deliverables, projected timeline for the project, narrative statement of why the firm should be selected. And last, I would recommend that the board approve the RFQ seeking design build services for the Town of Swansboro EOC and Public Safety Building.
Okay, any questions or discussion for John? Okay, could I get a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, all opposed? So unanimous again.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. And now we're talking about the budget, I guess, is where we're going?
We can? Yep. I know you've already heard from the nonprofits earlier about their request for fundings. Unless you want to go back to that, I thought we'd do that here, but you've already heard from them. If you have any questions, we certainly could bring them back up here for discussion. Just for your information before I get started, their funding requests are found in the governing body budget, on the big pages in your draft budget, under contributions agencies. Now it's $261,000. They were not asking for $261,000. Their total was $10,500. Military Affairs was asking for $1,000. Tunnels to Towers requesting $3,000. And Seaside Arts Council $6,500 for a total of $10,500. The other $250 is related to the loan the board will consider in a couple of weeks through the project coffee for the infrastructure project. So don't get that confused. But so those three requests here tonight was $10,500. At the April 29th board meeting or workshop we had on, I'm sorry.
Did you have a question, Pat? Did you have a question?
Yeah. Could you repeat each of those separately? And I think you said over, the total was 10,000.
I do my math wrong.
It's really hard, the acoustic.
Oh, I'm sorry. Military Affairs was requesting $1,000 in their application. That was listed. Tunnels to Towers, $3,000. And Seaside Arts Council, $6,500.
Thank
You okay, Mr. Turner?
Okay, do we need to make a motion on?
No, just want to make, since we did it earlier, but we didn't discuss how much they were actually asking for, and, you know, the impact is $10,500, and where to find it in your budget.
Okay. Does anybody else have a question for John?
So, let me just kind of review. April 29th at our last budget workshop, you know, we presented a draft, very, very rough draft of the budget and what you know, what kind of impacts we were going to see as a result of that. It was out of balance by about $1.64 million. 823,000 we could easily account for. Those were projects the board had approved for earlier, 500,000 for the sidewalk project, 150,000 for pickleball, and 250 for Project Coffee. Those were coming out of fund balance. However, that still left us about 812,000 of appropriating more fund balance just to meet operational needs. And the board gave us some direction on, we want to see that best way you can to alleviate that. So you have a table here on page 31 of your agenda packet that sort of summarizes how we took the 812,000 deficit and brought it to zero. There you go. There's a table that summarizes how we accomplished that. You see the balance there. We're in the whole $812,000. We made some changes to revenues and expenditures. The two biggest changes, first one being the deletion of the EMS services. So that was $365,000. There were some fire department expenses in EMS that they needed to keep, so we moved them back into the fire department budget for an increase of expenditures of $48,000. We had thought we were going to get a rate increase on our health benefits, but when it was put out to bid, the good news is it's going to decrease $62,000. That doesn't happen very often. Non-departmental for health reimbursement, if an employee reaches maximum out of pocket for their medical in a fiscal year, we will reimburse them, I believe it's $1,300. So we're just adding some money there that in case some people do meet that reimbursement, we do account for it. And a slight increase in salaries in Parks and Rec, $3,000. On the revenue side, this is where there's a big change. We have applied for a grant again this year through Department of Defense Infrastructure Grant we applied for last year. We weren't successful. We have got some help from the base. They're real interested in us getting funding for this project. They're very interested in helping us, and we think we've got it such that we'll be very competitive this year. So we have taken that out of fund balance appropriated and plugged in $500,000 of grant revenue. I do need to tell you that if we don't get funded for the grant, then we'll have to discuss what we want to do from there. But that's how we made up that shortfall, was to move the expenditure out of fund balance and funded it with grant revenue. Sidewalk set aside, we reduced that. Obviously, if it's all going to be grant funded, we don't have to use any capital reserve, so $76,000 difference there. Ad valorem taxes, the county tax administrator let Sonia know that our ad valorem tax base increased about $2 million, $732 million to about $734 million for next year, which taxable, which equals about $6,912 at our tax rate. And interest income on our investments, we're projecting they'll increase a little bit over this year, about $9,700. So that takes care of that. Those changes there deletes that $812,000 deficit. It still leaves $823,000 in fund balance appropriated for $150 for pickleball, $250 for Project Coffee, and $423 for fund balance appropriated. You might be interested in where does that leave us in regard to fund balance? What percent of fund balance do we have left for appropriation. You know, the policy of the board was target 50%. We are projecting to end June 30th this fiscal year at 52% based on what we see ending the current fiscal year. If we spend everything that we've appropriated for next year, that leaves at 44%. Not 50, but it's close. If you manage the budget properly, we should be able to keep it at 50%. I don't have, unless you have any questions, what you saw from last meeting or what we have proposed to change in that last budget you saw, I'd be glad to take your questions.
Does anybody have any discussion or questions for John?
You want to lead off?
Yeah, I'm just on the group health insurance, I don't remember exactly the scenario behind it, but I know that our carrier, we had to change carriers because, did they go out of business or something? Is that
The
what it was?
League of Municipalities Health Benefit, their program, they ended their program. So all the towns that were in their risk pool had to look for health benefits somewhere else. So we went out in the market and got quotes from Blue Cross, Aetna, United, Cigna, and Blue Cross was definitely the, by far, best quote we got, and based on the same plan. We put, this is the plan we got, this is the plan we like, so give us a quote on that, and they matched it, and it was actually $62,000 cheaper.
So we came out to good on that, and then our staff still has the same benefits and
Yes,
whatnot,
and-
yep.
and-
Coverage and the whole work.
And Blue Cross has a good in-network for physicians, so that should work out well.
I believe that's all I have. Doug, did you?
No,
anybody
Pat's
else?
got something on the end.
John, just to clarify, did I hear you say if we did this budget, our fund balance would be 44%, not 50%?
At the end of next fiscal year, if we spent it all, it would be at 44%.
But I thought we agreed to 50%.
That's correct. We'll end this year at 52, but if we do it like this, and I can't, I'm predicting we're going to spend it all, but I don't, if you do it properly, you'll manage it better than that, but I have to tell you that it would be at 44% at the end of next year.
But again, we agreed to 50%.
That's correct.
So
Unless
So what-
we
how can we
raise
get back to
unless we
50%?
raise some more revenues or cut out some other services or something to reduce expenditures, that would be the only way I could.
But I think if we agreed to 50%.
I don't want to overestimate your revenues and come up short and have to come back and tell you I really missed it. So I'd like to be conservative on revenues and really hit my expenditures, be really accurate on them. So I feel like these expenditures are accurate, and that's where it would leave us at the end of next year at 44%.
Which is still within the guidelines of the state of
Oh, sure,
37 by far.
you're not anywhere near where the local government commission is going to open their eyes. But, you've got to remember, 3 years ago, we were at 75%, maybe.
Yeah, you were like at 80% when we took
80%,
office.
yeah. So we've come down
And then-
considerably since, 3-4 years ago.
Just a little quick history here. We passed a resolution said that we would target 50, while most of the other towns that surround us have 35. So we're still over what about our other towns adjacent to us and what they have.
It's just
based
a
on the research.
recommendation. I know that 50 is your target. If there are some ways to get there, I certainly would, but.
We do have a resolution for 50% target.
Yes, we do.
And we think because the town is still growing and projects are still moving forward, and like I said, Project Coffee is going to start to show benefits here as soon as they start building, and permits alone. Getting those industries approved through the permitting process, as well as tax valorum and sales tax and other fees that come with that. And like Sonia said to us before, and we take your advice of this too, we have done better each year than what the projected numbers are as far as revenue. We don't have a revenue problem. What we have is a spending problem, if anything.
Now, the 250,000 is one expenditure of your fund balance that you will get back, but we're not expecting it next year. So when you do get it, it'll go back to fund balance. and will put you over that threshold, but I can't even estimate, it won't be next year when you get it back, but when they have those lots ready for sale, the intent is for them to reimburse the town within 3 years, that $250,000 loan.
So I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit here,
All right.
John. And you and Sonia, too, you can both answer this. What do we need to do to maintain our 50% resolution? With the projected overage of possibly $300,000 more in revenue, will we still be on target in that ballpark?
I believe you would be in that ballpark, and I would be comfortable to recommend that level to you this year.
And that is here's the magic question, right? You want a revenue neutral guidance from us tonight then to do that, right?
Well, this budget leaves the tax rate unchanged. I'm not recommending any increase or decrease, but certainly if your revenues don't increase and our demands for service, or, as we take on additional debt for projects, or we want to add staff, you're going to have to find new revenues somewhere. And you see we're only adding $6,900 of tax revenue. It's not going to get you very far.
Okay.
Did I answer your question?
So if you took some money from the sidewalks, because we don't always spend that, would that get us to 50%? Because we've been carrying over
Yeah,
the sidewalk money.
I'm assuming we're going to, if it's grant revenue, it won't affect fund balance at all, the 500,000. That's the biggest change that we made from what you saw 2 weeks ago to tonight, is the expectation that we won't use fund balance, but grant revenues for that project.
Anybody? So basically, this is keeping us at a net zero on the tax rate, no raise, no decrease on taxes, and the services will all be the same, but it's possible, and quite possible, that we might be at 44% instead of 50%.
Just want to make you aware that
Yeah.
it could be 44% at the end of
And
next
that's
year.
being very conservative on revenues, so.
It is. It's being very conservative on revenues.
Let's say you bring in another 300 to 400, maybe even $500,000 more revenue this year than you planned. Because there's a couple of projects that are in the work that are probably coming back to us late summer, early fall.
Yeah, again, we don't, that would be great, but, what we know for certain is what we'll plug in here. Paul gives us his best estimates on building permits and planning revenues. I'd like to, again, be conservative on that. It'd be great if some of those projects come through, but right now I can't recommend to you that they're for certain.
Okay, do we have any further direction or questions for John?
Do we want to make a motion for?
You don't have to make a motion on it. We just have to give.
What I want to do is
I don't know what the
put a
consensus of
draft.
the board is. Do we need to meet, or do we need to have this discussion here that says, what do you recommend, Pat, for guidance? We'll go down the line.
Well, I'm having a problem. If we agree to 50% and it's only going to be 44%.
Yeah, I'm
then I have a
concerned
problem
with that.
So we need to come up with the 50%. We can adjust mid-year, but we agreed to 50%. We're going into hurricane season. And if we have to spend the money, then we're going to be lower than 44%.
I don't think he needs any more. Take all the projects.
Microphone. They can't hear you.
I don't have a problem with the projects you have planned. I don't think the town staff would recommend these projects unless they felt they were financially feasible.
Well, I don't disagree.
Because I think John would be honest enough to tell us, hey, I don't think we can do this project if he felt that way. And I know Sonia would be there right there and whisper in his ear to tell him, hey, we can't afford this. So every time we sit here, we say, hey, good job, staff, and we recommend and we take their advice. I think what they're asking for is they've put together a plan, right? They say they have a worst case scenario, they have a shortfall. But every time we look back in the past, what, 5, 6 years, we've had a revenue windfall. I don't see that changing right now this year, do you? I don't see history all of a sudden taking a downturn in Swansboro. So I feel comfortable in everything you've shown us here, and the worst case scenarios will be around 40%, and still 5% better than most of the towns around us. That's the worst case.
Let me ask Sonia. You're over there. You're the money person. And
Could you speak into a microphone, please? Thank you.
I am very conservative on the revenues, and that's the reason why we always have a surplus at the end of the year. So I'm confident we'll get there. I'm not, but again, you know, this is a projection based off of, you know, what the North Carolina League municipalities tells us, and things can change. But the way I see it now, I feel we will reach really close.
So I got a question. How does our revenue projection this year compare to previous years? Is it higher by a whole lot, or is it was it 2 million that you said?
Our sales and use distribution is probably going to hit about $250,000 more than what I projected. But that's because I'm conservative, right?
Right.
So that's why we don't have to come back to
And
y'all and
request
say,
to do
oh,
it.
we need to halt the budget, because that's what my job is to manage it, making sure the revenues come in and we don't spend more than what comes in. So, and when that happens, we together have to halt the expenditures until we are confident it'll come back. So, and I've been doing this for a while, so.
And you've gotten year after year of excellent certification, so I have to trust your expertise. Doug, did you have something you want to say?
Yeah, just to remind folks that the Project Coffee thing it was a loan, it wasn't expenditure. We're getting that money back guaranteed. And then it's the revenue we're going to rake in from that as they start the build process. That's money that that's not in that proposal. That's revenue that you can for sure almost bank on, because it's an investment we've made. It's a commitment we've made to growing the economic growth of the town.
Okay. So are we good, everybody? I know Pat's still concerned about the 44%, which I am.
well,
I am as well.
I am, but I have faith in what Sonia says,
Yeah.
and I do have faith in what John says. But if we run into a hurricane, then I want to be able to look at this mid-year and make adjustments if we're going to fall below, because we did make an agreement.
Well, I just want to remind the board this as you make a decision on this. You have enumerated things you must do, and that is the health and welfare of our employees as far as their insurance, as far as the police department, the fire department, and public works. Those are the things we have to do. And they should be the first ones that we consider, and I think we have. As a matter of fact, during the proposal, I was impressed when I took it home and reviewed it for a couple of hours. Most of the departments made some serious cuts to some things they had in the years since going back to like 2023 when we first got here. A lot of them actually they're asking for less money and stuff. I think the only increase I saw was in one department, and it was something that, you know, it's not enumerated we do as we must do as a government, but it was something that benefits directly the quality of life for folks in the town. So I feel super confident that we're not going to have a problem.
Okay, so are we clear on, do you need more direction, or are you clear on?
I think our next step in the process is for us to summarize this into a formal recommended budget to you the week of the May 26th. That'll give us time for us to make the advertisement, the 10-day notice for your advertisement for your public hearing will be June 10th board meeting.
Okay. Yep. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Future agenda topics. Anybody? Elisa?
There have not been any new items or developments to change what you've already been provided in your packet. Just to recap, you will have a presentation from the chairman of the swimming pool committee, Mr. Prain, for what their committee has done and has come up with for a pool situation. We will have board appointments and a public hearing on a proposal to extend the JOED incentive grant. And then coming up in June, we're going to have a busy June 10th meeting with 3 public hearings, 2 of which will be associated with JOED as far as their parcels and rezonings and extraterritorial jurisdiction expansion, as well as your budget public hearing. And we are also planning to further discuss the visitor center future plans on that meeting. Were there any other items the board would like to see come up in the future?
So I would like to see us talk about the visitor center and just try to come to some kind of decision on that, so the public's at ease and I'm at ease. I just don't like putting things off. I don't know if that's premature right now, so I would have to get a little bit of input from you guys as to what you think.
We have it scheduled for the June 10th or June 24th agenda, one of those meetings.
Oh, okay. And then this may be out of school as well. So we just got the dock done next to the Borough Low Country Boil, and it goes under the bridge to Bicentennial Park. How hard would it be for us to think about getting an easement for that one piece of property in Randy's behind El Chino and tie that into the river walk to make a boardwalk along that side of town instead of down toward Ward Shore? How?
Ooh, I believe that was a plan in the future. I believe that was part of the plan.
What's your
That
thought?
is already part of the plan
Okay.
that was developed with that. So that's a process that has future consideration.
But it's not on an agenda.
But it's not an agenda item right now.
So we need to wait then just a little bit? Oh, come on. All right, Joe, Tamara, you got any?
I just had a conversation with a citizen yesterday about the same thing about the boardwalk. It could negate the need to put in a crosswalk up here if we connect it to the right places. But yeah, I guess that's a future item. That's all I got. Then I don't like this computer.
That's fine.
It's killing me over here.
I don't know if Joe, you can help me on this one, remember, and Bill, and as well as Pat and Jeff here. We've been approached a couple times, and I was looking around town, seeing the same thing. We have the handicapped access around town, even more than a future sidewalk problem. I think we need to get more consistent to make it more accessible to our visually challenged as well as mobility challenged residents, because some of our stuff does comply, but a lot of the curbs don't. Did we appointed a committee yet to explore these options as far as that goes? We need to set it as an agenda item and make progress on it.
There is, who was doing that before, John? Was it Paula that did that before? Yes. So who's doing that now? There is something that the town does, they have to do for ADA.
There is an ADA plan.
Yes.
That we are working through, and we have made some movement on it. Some of the things are dependent on where this ADA accessibility needs to be addressed. And some things obviously is out of our hands, which we have to work with NCDOT for when it's all running down 24. If you are referring to connectivity for sidewalks for ADA accessibility around town, that's in your priorities list for your sidewalks. So as soon as that develops and moves along, that'll be a big improvement on ADA.
They do have, they're supposed to have a committee, the town does.
Yep, right.
I work on that.
That's my question. Do we have a committee yet?
There's not a committee.
I think we need to get an agenda, get one going on that one. And I just noticed because if you go to if you cross the street at Walgreens to the 7-Day store there, one's got a little ramp you can get down. One has just grass and to a steep curb. And I think that's exactly the kind of issues that our handicapped guys and girls out there, the ones that are visually and as well as mobile, if they have to depend on a chair or wheel device, That could be a real challenge.
I mean,
Because they have to
might-
cross like uneven, on that intersection, you can't, you have a ramp on one side, or a sidewalk that leads to a ramp, and then on the other side, you got nothing but grass until you get to the sidewalk, and you have to step over a curb like this tall. I mean, that's just something that's not huge, but it's a big problem when you're confined to a chair, or you have to walk around with a cane or a service animal.
In front of, are you referring to in front of Cliff's, that car lot right there? And that's one of your priorities in your sidewalk plan. So that's one of the things that will come to fruition with that as we work through those priorities.
So I don't want to do a lot of proclamations just for the sake of doing proclamations, but Tamara and I had talked about the Military Child of the Year, trying to get her back.
Yes,
And
we're working on getting with her and a good schedule. She's
And we have-
also working, so
we
she's,
have a Moorhead scholar as well that lives in Charleston Park. That would be nice to get. Logan Waters, is it Waters or Waters? Walters. So if we could get, that's pretty prestigious to get
yes, it
the
is.
Moorhead scholar.
Yep.
Anybody else?
I said, did we finish on the ADA sidewalks? I was gonna say, because the young lady that comes here quite
Rachel
often,
Lovejoy.
Rachel Lovejoy, I've talked to her a couple of times now about grant writing and getting funding for the ADA aspect on our sidewalks and all aspects of the ADA for our downtown or for our whole town. I think we need to maybe have a conversation with that young lady.
Yeah, I think she helped with the last time when they.
I think she has.
Yeah.
That's all I got. That I don't.
We also have the contract that we're working through for the sidewalk priorities for the RFP we put out a couple months ago. So that's also a part of the process that's undergoing for those sidewalk gaps for your priorities you identified.
Okay, anybody have anything else for future? Okay. All right, thank you, ma'am. Okay, so we're moving right along. It's been an hour, so we're getting close to ending up with the major part of the meeting. No items moved from consent, so it's now time for public comment. And this is up to 5 minutes for any item that's not on the agenda. And I have lost it. Okay, Terry Herbert, if you'd come to the microphone and speak, state your name and address, please.
Terry Herbert, 102 Oyster Bay Road. And Pat, I think I can help you out. At the planning board meeting last week, another rezoning request was submitted, and this time it was for Project Coffee. After the meeting, a commissioner stated that $54 million of development was interested in that property. The town plans to use $250,000 of our savings to prepare for this development, and we'll get the money back if and when we sell the property. I'm sorry, if and when it is sold. Are we to believe that a $54 million project hinges on our $250,000? That's 0.0046 cents on the dollar, roughly a half a penny, or 25 cents per $5,400. The listing agent stated that the development would offer jobs paying between $60,000 and $70,000 and would encourage our college graduates to return home. Will it also absorb high school graduates because we want to keep them here as well? How many jobs in total are projected? Since some of my money will be used for this project, I'd like to know what businesses want to come to town offering such high-paying jobs. I've heard the possibility of a warehouse-type facility and/or some sort of manufacturing plant, both of which tend to be highly automated. There's no immediate access to a port, rail, or air freight. Will we rely on our little post office to ship out any manufactured items? Will they, UPS, FedEx, or DHL, pull up in 18-wheelers? Will we have trucks coming and going all day? What about the environmental impact of the businesses and the trucks on the roads? Will the businesses be green? What if they're environmentally unfriendly? What about utilities? Will we have the water and sewer capacity they need? The base doesn't look to give us any more in the way of sewer. What about power? We struggle with Duke as it is. Will a new substation be required? If so, where will it go and when will it be erected? What about the environmental impact of that? Before you spend my money, I want to know what business is coming here and how it will affect the area and our quality of life. Do the benefits outweigh the cost? Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Junior Freeman, did you have something that you wanted us to talk about?
Junior Freeman, 714 West Corbett. Thank you, Commissioners, and for all you do, and the Mayor. The Visitor Center that has been in controversy of over several months now, I encourage you to keep that property and fix it for bathrooms for the downtown area. As it was said, Swan Fest, they need restrooms there. And my son at one time had a business in the old brick store for about 3 years. And it was a continuous question at that time, where is the bathroom? Can we use your bathroom? Well, it was a little room where it was hard enough for one person to get into, a skinny person, let alone having customers use. And a lot of the other businesses is the same way. Prior to my time of sitting on the board, they were looking at putting a bathroom on the town dock at the end of Main Street. That went way off kilter, and that's when we started looking at, there was an old block building grown up in weeds and vines where the Visitor Center is now, and the town purchased the property. And then the Schulers assisted in getting the Tucker Littleton house there. And it was the purpose at that time to make it into bathrooms. And it can be made into some quality bathrooms. You have a crawl space there, so it's not like having to go into concrete and put the plumbing and put a substantial floor and build the building out as it should be and continue using that and allow the bathrooms to stay there, because there's a lot of people milling around in the town all hours, been to the restaurants, they're coming out, and they're looking for a bathroom so they can stay a little longer and mill around a little longer. So that's something that's really important to the businesses downtown. The chamber, talking about the chamber coming back there, it would not be feasible to have the chamber as a operating that visitor center, because it became the time that they were there, they were the ones cleaning the bathrooms and doing other things, and they're not a 7-day-a-week business, and they don't work full-time as it is. The visitor center would be best served if the town funded some money for the historic center and got people to going up there, because folks, when they're shopping down there, like to stand and talk and got a lot of time, so that's where we really need to try to direct people for there. Now, on the town dock or the town walkway, as Mayor, as you mentioned, the one house there right on the end of Webb Street on the left has been a issue over the years with getting an easement to go by there. I don't know if that's ever been resolved, but that's the link in the chain that has not ever been able to be mended. But the town dock, as the town walkway as it is now, goes to the Swan Harbor dock that goes out to their day dock, and it stops there. Well, the town has an easement to go all the way around that hill there with the oak trees there. And I know that because I was very involved in Swan Harbor and all the plans and so forth, as I lived there for 12 years. So the town does have an easement to go on around that way to make it more of a nature walk that way, because there is a lot of wildlife on that creek down there, and it would be advantageous to use that. maybe sometime that other missing link could be handled and the walkway made available. But access from the Riverside Park is available as well. And there was a lot of people when I was there that was using that walkway and really enjoying it, families and photos with weddings as well as graduation and so forth. So just wanted to give you that information as personal experience. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that's all the public comment. So we'll move to manager comments. You have anything you'd like to say, John? Okay. All right, so now we're board comments. Start with Pat. Jeff?
As always, thanks for the staff for everything, and of course, for Public Works and the Police Department for everything they do and being recognized, and it's well worth it to do that all the time if I could. Thanks for everybody coming out. If I got some people out there that can verify this. If you have some question about the budget or anything, get a hold of me. We'll talk. As I've proved to some people, I'll sit down with you and try to make sense of some of the things that you might be confused on, because there are things that we talk about that aren't public at the time because we're not able to talk about them. And it's not necessarily that I will tell you because I can't, but I can let you know, what was behind it and how it got driven to that point, and it might help you ease up a little bit in however you're feeling about whatever the subject is. So reach out to us, and we'll do what we can to try to clear things up. I got a lot of time now, so I'm available pretty much any time. So give me a call if you need to talk about something. I suggest you text me first because my phone blocks numbers unless you're in my contacts list. So if you text me, I'll put you in there and then we'll be able to talk. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Just some quick comments. Received a letter this week commending our permit enforcer. And Paul, he helped out one of our residents, and they were ecstatic over it and stuff. I don't know, Paul, if you got a copy of that and stuff, I hope that got through to you and stuff, and you were recognized. Good job, man. Like I said, recognizing the ones that protect and serve us, recognizing the ones that keep us healthy, keep our streets moving. The guys out there sweating every day because just like I'm sure you guys, the rain caused all kinds of headaches where I work, and I'm sure it caused some headaches for you guys here. Today was a crazy day. Yesterday was even crazier. And I know that it came, 8 inches of rain comes with its challenges. So thank you there for Public Works. Thank you guys. Do a great job on that. Glad to see that some things are happening and stuff, and we're moving forward. Was really happy to see some of the line items, especially that our police department put in for the budget this year. I think it's going to bring in even keep you those qualified applicants, keep you up to snuff there, and make everybody want to join the department. With that, God bless everyone till we meet again.
As usual, thank you, staff, citizenry, for showing up tonight and all you do. There's a lot of stuff going on, and please forgive me, I'm not feeling real well for some reason right now, but I've been a little off my game tonight. But again, thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
Tamara?
Thank you for the staff. Can you hear me?
Look closer.
thank you for the staff. Your work on the budget is great. I know you have daily operations also to do, but we'll get there eventually. For everybody that came out, thank you. Public Works, Police, Senior, and Voting, all great jobs. Thank you.
Well, I don't want to sound redundant, so I ditto everything that these guys said about recognizing our staff and all. It's really nice to see citizens on a regular basis come to the meeting and have input, because that's what this is all about. Listening to what y'all have to say and trying to make the best decision we can. So thank you all for coming out. And like Jeff was saying, feel free to call anytime or text. If I don't answer, I'll get back with you. Usually, I think if you ask anybody, I'm pretty good about getting back with people. So just feel free to reach out to me and call me. And with that being said, if anybody has anything else to say, if not, then we are going to go into a closed session. And need a motion to enter a closed session pursuant to NCGS 143-318.11 to consult with an attorney employed or retained by the public body in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege between the attorney and the public body, which privilege is hereby acknowledged. And I need a motion.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So it passes. I don't expect anything to report. You're more than welcome to hang out and see. It'll be live streamed as well, but I don't know that there's anything to report tonight. So thank y'all again for coming out.
Hey, remember how much everybody's anybody's here.
All right. All right, so we don't have anything to report from the closed session. And so with that being said, I'd like to get a motion to close.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, so we can close. John, the next time Doug comes, hide the candy jar.
Look at that, it made